Today is Monday, so that means another mock draft coming right up. What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Gridiron Fantasy Football YouTube channel, and I am Chick. I'm your host of the Gridiron Fantasy Football podcast, and today is Monday, July 26th, 2021, and you know what that means? That means another mock draft. Now, we've been doing half PPR 12-team formats for the last few mock drafts that we have done, but today I'm going to change up a tad bit and do a full PPR 10-team format and kind of see what team we end up coming out with. And we're actually going to be drafting from the 10th spot. It was randomized, so what I'm going to do is not change anything, just go with that and see exactly what type of team we come up with. You know, having the 10th spot means that we're probably not going to get a top 5 running back, so more than likely we're going to be doing probably a receiver heavy or maybe a tight end, top tight end type of first couple picks. But let's see what we come up with. All right, so let's go ahead and start the draft. And so right off the bat, we got Christian McCaffrey that went number 1 overall. Derrick Henry went 2, Dalvin Cook 3, and then Jonathan Taylor at 4, above Kamara at 5. That's surprising to me. I would not have drafted Jonathan Taylor over Alvin Kamara, especially with the Michael Thomas news. I know if you had watched on YouTube last week that I did my top caution players, and Alvin Kamara was one of them. But honestly, like, now that Michael Thomas is going to be missing probably the first 4 to 6 games of the season, Alvin Kamara now becomes a player that I am now back on my list. If he goes for the right price, but he's not a guy that I have to have. He's a guy that I want. But I love Alvin Kamara. He's one of my favorite players. But to see him drafted after Jonathan Taylor is surprising to me. So now it's our time at 10, and so I have some pretty good options. So like, when it comes to the PPR format, Tyreek Hill is gone, Devontae Adams is gone, and so I have a chance. I got 2 picks here, right? So what I'm probably going to do is at running back, we got Nick Chubb and Austin Eckler, and Aaron Jones there as options. Out of those 3, I like Austin Eckler a lot more because it's PPR format. Nick Chubb is a very gifted running back, but I prefer something like Austin Eckler in a PPR format. So at wide receiver, there's Stephon Diggs. I think that with the 2 picks, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make Stephon Diggs my number 1 pick at the 110. And then on the flip around at the 2-1, I'm going to go ahead and go with Austin Eckler. I know it's drafted above Nick Chubb and Aaron Jones, but this is my personal preference when it comes to these running backs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draft Austin Eckler here. To get a top running back, top wide receiver is not a bad way to start. And then now let's see what goes on with the second round. Of course, Patrick Mahomes goes in the second round. Like in pretty much every draft, you're going to see Patrick Mahomes in the second round being drafted. So now it's our pick. Let's see, we got pretty much majority of the top running backs are gone. And now it's our option again with the 310. Running back wise, I don't really see much. I can't believe this is going to happen, but this is crazy right now. So what I'm going to do is we got Calvin Ridley and Darren Waller available. Calvin Ridley being the best receiver, and then tight end Darren Waller. And now because I already have Austin Eckler, I don't like going with the same like skill position, like with the running back receiver from the same team. I don't mind obviously having the quarterback in either of the skill positions, but when it comes to that, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to draft Calvin Ridley here at the 310, and then it's a no-brainer. I'm going to go ahead and take Darren Waller here at the 4-1. I mean, my team right now, Stephon Diggs, Austin Eckler, Ridley, and Waller. I mean, come on, that is ridiculous. And now let's see. Keenan Allen goes after Waller, and then you got Carson. Julio Jones goes in the 4th round. Mike Evans before Terry McLaurin. I wouldn't have done that. I would have taken McLaurin before Evans or Godwin. Let's see. Josh Allen goes in the 4th or in the 5th round. And this is what happens when you play if you have a 10-team format. This is going to happen. A lot of things get compressed. So usually Josh Allen would go in most drafts in the 4th round. But because of the less positions, he's going a little bit further down. But you had Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray drafted ahead of him. And honestly, I don't see anybody who's going to be drafting those two guys over Josh Allen based on what he did last year. All right, so now it's our turn here at the 5-10. Now I have to try to figure out what I want to do at running back. I don't need a tight end. I'm not really pressed at wide receiver. So now I got to figure out what I want to do here. And I mean, I do like Robert Woods. Robert Woods has a pretty good schedule this year, and with Matthew Stafford, I think he's doing a lot of big things. But let's see, running back. I mean, we got Kareem Hunt, but I don't want him. I don't want Kareem Hunt as my RB2. I want somebody who's the actual starter. You got my options here is Kareem Hunt, Myles Gaskin, James Robinson, Javonte Williams, and Melvin Gordon, Leonard Fournette, Mike Davis, Chase Edmonds. So based off all these players that are available, other than like Mike Davis and Myles Gaskin, everyone else is getting pretty much in a timeshare. So I like Myles Gaskin a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a flyer on Myles Gaskin here at the 5-10. And then when it comes at the 6-1, wide receiver wise, what I think I'm going to do, just to solidify my wide receiver and then my flex position, I'm going to go ahead and draft Robert Woods here. I really like Robert Woods. So let's see what happens here. You got Thielen, Galladay, Jamar Chase goes. Then you got Wilson, Lockett, CeeDee Lamb, James Robinson, and Deontay Johnson go and finish out the 6th round. Let's see, Justin Herbert goes in the 7th. With DJ Chark. Mike Davis goes at the 7-8. Tom Brady goes at the 7-9. And now it's my turn again at the 7-10. Let's see here. Quarterback wise, there's still Aaron Rodgers, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford. There's a lot of good quarterbacks there. Aaron Rodgers, there's some news now that Aaron Rodgers, there's speculation. If you've been paying attention to some of the news, like some of the bettors for Vegas have taken the Green Bay Packers off their list of like odds because there's speculation that Aaron Rodgers may decide to retire this week, or he may announce a retirement this week. So that really puts a bind on going in. I'm glad it's happening now. If that's the case, it's happening before any of our drafts. Like my draft is the first week of August, so next week I go to Florida to do my draft, and I'm glad if that happens. That it's speculated he's going to be retiring. It's good to know now than wait until our drafts are over with and someone drafts Aaron Rodgers and he retires like what Andrew Luck did. I mean, it was Andrew Luck just retired out of the blue after like our draft was done, and the guy who drafted Andrew Luck lost out Jacoby Brissett because we have a free for all. We used to have a free for all free agency, so there wasn't any fab budget. So that guy who drafted Andrew Luck lost out on Jacoby Brissett. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, man, I'm not touching Aaron Rodgers, and that really puts the value of Devontae Adams down. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially this week. All right, so after all that, let's look at what we have at receiver. You know, there's Devontae Smith. I'm not going to trust him. I know he's talented, but it's just a guy that I'm just not really high on. Brandon Ayuk is another good name there. And this is right now, this will be my 4th wide receiver, so I'm going for depth here. At running back, there's Melvin Gordon, Leonard Fournette, Chase Edmonds. If I had to choose, I'm going to choose Chase Edmonds here only because I think that he will have the starts over James Conner, but he's still going to be in a timeshare. So now it's my turn on the 8-1. Right now I got Eckler, Gaskin, and Edmonds as my running backs. I got Diggs, Ridley, Woods as my wide receiver. So I can pretty much either go anywhere right now. I can go, if I want to, I can go quarterback. I can go ahead and draft someone like Trevor Lawrence or Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford. I still think there's a lot of good quarterbacks, so I'm not going to waste a pick just yet on a quarterback. Running back wise, you got Melvin Gordon, Leonard Fournette, Raheem Mostert, Ronald Jones, Kenyon Drake, James Conner. Like, I really don't like a lot of these running backs available right now, so I think I'm just going to wait. And then I'm going to go ahead and draft Brandon Ayuk and see what running backs fall to me at the 9-10. So Fournette goes, Higgins goes, Devontae Smith goes, Mostert, Jalen Waddle, Claypool, Samuel, Melvin Gordon at the 8-10. Then you got Kenyon Drake goes to the 9-3. And that's the thing about, I'm going to do an episode tomorrow on, I'm starting the series Would You Rather, and Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake are part of that discussion there. Let's see here. My choice is the 9-10. Let's see here. Quarterback-wise, still no quarterback was taken, so I'm still good there. Wide receiver-wise, Brandon Cooks, Laviska Shenault, Will Fuller, Marquise Brown. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a flyer. These two rookie running backs, Trey Sermon for the 49ers and Michael Carter of the Jets. These two guys are speculated to be starters, but obviously Trey Sermon has Raheem Mostert in front of him, and then Michael Carter, there's Tevin Coleman there too, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, but I'm willing to take a flyer on one of these guys. I mean, right here we got Damian Harris as well. Damian Harris it's been talked about that he's going to be the starter, but it's the Patriots, and can you ever trust anything that the Patriots say about their running backs? But I think what I'm going to do is at the 9-10, I'll go ahead and take Michael Carter. And then now I got back-to-back picks at the 10-1. I know Trey Sermon will not be there on the flip round, so quarterback-wise, I'm still good with quarterback. Receiver, I think there's a lot of good depth options there, so I'm not going to sit there and try to go for receiver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bet on Trey Sermon here, because I think that Kyle Shanahan knows how to make productive running backs in that system. So not saying that anything will come to fruition with this, but there's a chance that he could have some carries. I mean, not one running back in that backfield is going to get all the carries, so it's, why not have that for depth? And now let's see, a big run on quarterbacks. You had Lawrence, Burrow, Hurts, and Stafford go. Deshaun Watson got drafted, even though the likelihood of him playing this year is very low. Let's see, quarterback-wise, I could go after, it's the 11-10. So this is not a bad time to get a quarterback if I need it. I got back-to-back picks, doesn't really matter. I got 5 running backs. I'm not really looking at for a running back. I got receivers here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 receivers, so I'm going to go for depth. I got an option between Rashad Bateman, Corey Davis, Curtis Samuel, Michael Pittman, Michael Gallup, Mike Williams. Rashad Bateman, potentially could be the number 1 for Baltimore. Corey Davis, I mean, he definitely is talented, but I don't really see him as a number 1. They drafted Elijah Moore, so I think Elijah Moore has a chance to be above Corey Davis, at least for targets. Let's see, Curtis Samuel. I do like Curtis Samuel. He's very versatile. But now Darnell Mooney, that's a name that is going to be on people's radar because they just traded Anthony Miller to the Texans. The Bears did. So let's see. Running back. I'm just going to go in just for the sake of draft. I'm going to take Ryan Tannehill right here at the 11-10. Then it's my turn again at the 12-1. Let's see. I do like J.D. McKissick in the PPR format above all these guys here. Let's see, wide receiver. I'm gonna take my chances, and I'm gonna go ahead and draft. I'm going to take Mike, even though I got Eckler, I like Mike Williams a lot, so I'm going to take Mike Williams over Bateman, Davis, Samuel, Pittman, Gallup. So, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take Mike Williams. I like Mike Williams a lot this year, so this is kind of a biased pick. But, that's what you have to make these decisions. Let's see. So it's my last pick if I have to pick a defense. So what I'm going to do is grab the best player available between Justin Fields. I'm not picking another quarterback. There's Justin Fields, Elijah Moore, Darnell Mooney, Rondale Moore of the Cardinals. There's just too much depth there for me to pick up more. Mecole Hardman, if he gets more playing time and doesn't play special teams, it's possible, to pick him up as a flyer. Let's see. I'm going to grab, I already got enough running backs. In most drafts, I don't pick a backup quarterback or pick a backup tight end because generally I'm just going to stream those guys. Let's see, let's take a flyer on Darnell Mooney, see what happens there. And then now it's my last pick of the draft, and I got any choice of defense here. I don't think any other defenses got drafted. Not that I see right now, but let's see. You got the chance of the Washington football team, the Bucks, the Rams, the Steelers. And why not? I'm gonna be a homer. I'm gonna draft the Bucks. You got Washington goes next, Rams, Steelers, 49ers, Ravens, Browns, Colts, Titans, and Patriots finish out the draft here. So yeah, this is it. This is the draft. So what our roster looks like, I mean, this is a full PPR 10-team league. A lot more balance in rosters. So it's, you know, it's one of those things where this is where hitting on those sleepers and those guys you have gut feelings on, because a lot of these teams that you play in these leagues that have 10-team leagues, that they're gonna have a lot of good players. Every team's gonna have studs. So that's where your studying of the players and your gut on certain players really plays a role into what gets you over the top. You know, so my roster, I have quarterback Ryan Tannehill, running back is Austin Eckler, Myles Gaskin. Receiver, I got Stephon Diggs, Calvin Ridley. Tight end, I got Darren Waller. My flex right now is Robert Woods. My defense is the Bucks. You know, on my bench, I got Chase Edmonds, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Carter, Trey Sermon, Mike Williams, Darnell Mooney. So honestly, like, I got a pretty good core of players that I can build around. You know, a lot of these guys could be potential breakouts. These guys could be guys that you just drop because they didn't turn into what you thought. But, you know, a lot of these teams, I mean, have some pretty, like, look at the number one team. So the guy who had the number one pick has McCaffrey, Gibson, Harris, Lamar Jackson, Godwin, Deontay Johnson, Kareem Hunt, Melvin Gordon, Noah Fant. They got Trevor Lawrence at quarterback, Naheem Hines, Michael Pittman Jr., and the Patriots. So, you know, different strategy, but they got the best running back on the board. You know, I got arguably the best wide receiver. So, like, there's a lot of good balance between these rosters, but I definitely like this roster a lot based on having the 10th pick and then being in a 10-team league format. I think that's a pretty solid roster. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment below, and, you know, what are some players that you're targeting and you're sleeping on, or, you know, players that you just think are going to have a breakout season. So that's it for today, but tune in tomorrow. I'm gonna start a new series, that kind of extension of the mock drafts on Would You Rather, where I talk about a few players from each position. Start with the quarterback position tomorrow on if you're faced with decision based on two different players, who I would choose in that situation based on the stats and all the things that I have available to me. So that'll be out tomorrow. But if you want to follow us on social media, you can find us over on Twitter at the Gridiron Pod, and then on Facebook at the Gridiron Pod, and then on Instagram at Gridiron Fantasy Football. So that's it for today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.